This is the Nikon FG, an interchangeable lens 35mm SLR film camera that was manufactured by Nikon from 1982 to 1986. When it was released in 1982, it cost roughly about $325, which would be about $1,000 in today's money. It had a program mode, an aperture priority mode, and a fully manual mode. It was also the first Nikon to ever have TTL metering built into the camera. Hi friends, it's Jason, and you're probably wondering why I bought a 40-year-old film camera when I just bought a Nikon Z6 III. Well, I got this before I got the Z6 III, and I may have been influenced because I was seeing a bunch of photographers that I follow online on YouTube, and they were all buying film cameras and getting into shooting film and this, that, and the other thing. And I just happened to be on Facebook one day on Marketplace, you know, going through and looking and seeing what's there. And this popped up, and it was a really good price. Let me tell you, I got this for $60 online. Like, it was, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked that this was this cheap. And I was really impressed. So I went and checked it out, and I ended up buying it for $60. And I didn't even know if it worked. So it was a crapshoot. I wasn't going to spend any more money than that on an old camera. As you can see, I've got a bunch behind me here that, you know, maybe I was just adding another camera to my collection back here. So it might have just been that, but I wanted to check it out and see if it actually worked. And the only way to do that was to throw in a roll of film and change the battery on the bottom. Now, this does have a small watch battery in the bottom. It came with a 50mm 1.8 lens, and it just seemed like it was in really good shape. So I got a new battery for it, put that in there. That was only a few dollars, so no big deal. And I bought a roll of Fujifilm 400. That was the first roll that I put in this camera. And you know, I started taking pictures with it. I made sure that everything worked. When I wound the wheel, the film roll thingy, I don't even know what it's called, it turned so that I knew I was advancing the film, and the focus seemed to work. Now, the interesting thing about this camera is it comes with both an aperture priority and program mode. So I put it in aperture priority, and on the lens you can change the aperture, and there is an audible beep when you are underexposed or overexposed, which gives you the ability to change the aperture and let you know that you're within an acceptable range and that your exposure is going to be right. So that appealed to me, and I mean, it's a basic film camera. It shows you where you are on your roll. It advances the film this way. I'm not going to advance it right now because I do have another roll of film in here. I'm on my second roll of film. I tried a different roll of film with this one. The first roll of film, like I said, was a Fujifilm 400. This is a Kodak Gold 400. I wanted to compare the two 400 rolls and see which one I liked best, which color, because the Fujifilm apparently is more on the greens, whereas the Kodak is more on the golds. So I wanted to see which one I liked better. I took this on my trip to Graham and Ann, which was in my last video, which you will see, and I got some really interesting pictures from it. Now, the first picture, I'll pop it up on the screen here. Obviously, I put the roll of film in it, and I took the first picture with this roll of film and this camera, and it was at my local camera shop where I bought the roll of film. So that's up on the screen now, and as you can see, it turned out what I did when I took the film in to get it developed. they had 3 options, and I could get the film prints and get digital sent to me. I got all 3. Probably in the future what I will do is just get the film and the digitals so that I can decide which pictures I want to get printed. I got all the pictures printed, and I'm going to pop up some on the screen throughout this video and show you the results. Now, don't get me wrong, I did not in any way, shape, or form hit every picture. These are just 10 of my favorites that I've put up here for you to see. Some of them were way out of focus, some of them were blurry as heck, some were way overexposed, and I just didn't get them right. So I mean, I haven't shot with a film camera in 30 years. Exposure is, you know, a basic concept, but it was still handheld. There's no IBIS, which I'm used to, and it's a whole different game when you get into film. One thing I did notice that because it's film and because you have to pay to get it, you know, developed, etc., it caused me to slow down. And unlike a digital camera, one of the things that it did was it caused me to think about, do I really want to take this picture? It was an interesting thing that happened in my brain. It's like, is this worthy of this piece of film to take that picture? So that was an interesting thing in my brain, and I noticed because I was switching from this to my Z6 III that I was also doing the same thing with my Z6 III. I was kind of slowing down with that a little bit versus just taking pictures of everything because I could. So this is, you know, it was just something that I thought I wanted to try. It does have a timer on it. There is a little timer. I never used that. I didn't want to try that out. Now, another thing is I do have f-mount lenses. This is an f-mount camera, so I can use some of my old f-mount lenses on this 35mm film camera, which is kind of interesting. So I may do that in the future and check that out and see, and I may make a video about that. I don't know. But there is all the ISO information. There is one neat feature that is advantageous. Like I said, there is a battery in this, but there is an M90N bulb mode on this camera that allows you to continue to use the camera even if the battery dies on it, which is a really nice feature. I figured that out right away because the battery was dead and before I changed it, and I was able to use that and still get the shutter to actuate. So that was good. I am going to get a strap for this and get rid of these little things that I absolutely hate. But overall, the camera is in fantastic condition. The viewfinder is clear. There were no light leaks, which blew my mind. There were no light leaks at all. And this camera is 40 years old. So it was really good condition. The lens, there's not a scratch on it, and I was just really impressed with it. So I will be using this more. I'm really impressed. I'm shocked. So for one thing, if you think that you might be curious about film, look for a nice old camera like this out there with a lens and check them out. I mean, I did get some decent pictures with this one. There is the print version right there, but I will pop up the you know, you will see this in the pictures that I throw up on the screen. I got all kinds of different ones here. They turned out really nice, so I was really impressed with this little camera. And if that sounds like something that you know, might interest you, I encourage you to do it, because it did it was a lot of fun to think about the picture and slow down. Now, as you can see, here's one. You can see that it didn't turn out very well. It was clipped off on both ends, and it was quite overexposed, and it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. You know, they were a little bright in some cases, but via getting the digitals, I was able to clean them up a little bit. So it's fun. I'm having fun with it. I can't wait to see the Kodak Gold pictures that come out of this one, and we'll see where it goes from here. So definitely I would recommend finding an old camera like this and trying out film if it's something that interests you. And with that, I will say I'll see you next time, and get to shooting.